first and second in 5 starts this year. As a bonus, Crypto Clearance has the riding services of Jose Santos, a 26-year-old native of Chile, who led the nation's jockeys in earnings last year. In the Florida Derby, Crypto Clearance overcame a slow pace and a wide trip to nail the leaders in the final 16. In the past, Crypto Clearance has preferred to rally wide, and we asked trainer Scotty Schulhofer if the inside post is a detriment here.
Not at all. He's just more been on the outside because he's been hung up out there from the post position before in his other races, but he'll run on the inside just as well as out.
There's plenty of support for Alysheba, a $500,000 yearling who has been in the money often but has won only 1 race in his career. Chris McCarron, Alysheba's rider, makes his 7th Derby appearance, still looking for his first win. Hall of Famer Jack Van Berg has won more races than any trainer in history and has faith in this horse.
I'm confident in him. I wouldn't trade with anybody. There isn't a horse in America that I'd trade with right now. I've said that for about a month, and, you know, I told you last fall what I thought of him, and I hope he holds up for me.
Now some mystery horses. Start with Masterful Advocate, a $5,500 purchase, who impressively won his first 3 starts this year. He was well beaten, however, in the Santa Anita Derby, but co-owner Dave Leviton believes that race was an aberration, and he's got an army of supporters to root the colt on. Bet Twice has won 6 of 10 career starts, and he looked like a possible Derby favorite when he coasted to victory in March in Gulfstream's Fountain of Youth Stakes. However, in the Florida Derby, Bet Twice was the 3-5 favorite. Had some trouble early, and when jockey Craig Perrett called on him in the stretch, he had little to offer. His backers feel things will be different today. If you're looking for a long shot and an unbelievable story, there's Momentous, a chestnut colt who is lucky to be alive. In the Hawthorne Juvenile last fall, Momentous was on his way to an easy win when he suddenly ducked in and jumped the rail. Alive and well now, he's in the field today.
He's matured immensely, like all our 3-year-olds do this time of the year, and hopefully he'll overcome these things. He's a very brave horse. I mean, he is a brave horse. There's no doubt about that. And it just mentally he has to put it all together. And we'll see what happens.
The horses have been called to the paddock for the Kentucky Derby. Wayne LUKAS has been a controversial figure around here this week. Not the public relations darling of old. In a minute, he'll speak for himself.
99.
Back at Churchill Downs on Derby Day, that's Gene Klein, who has been very successful in thoroughbred racing since he sold the San Diego Chargers. He owns last year's Horse of the Year, Lady Secret. In the Derby, he owns On the Line and is co-owner.
I hope so. I win the Preakness for him, so I'm looking forward to win the Derby for him.
How's the track for him today, do you think?
The track suit him perfect today. Every horse that made the lead today wins, so I hope he continue like that.
Well, we're delighted to have you back after the injury. You were on crutches last year at this time, weren't you, Angel?
I did, and I'm very grateful that I'm here again and competing again.
Well, have a good, safe trip. Thank you very much, Angel.
Thank you very much.
Another man back from an injury is Chris McCarron, who will be on Alysheba. Welcome back to the wars, too, Chris. How do you feel?
I feel great, Mr. Whitaker. Again, like Angel said, I'm very grateful to have recovered so quickly and everything, and I'm just thrilled to death to be here.
How about Alysheba coming out of the bluegrass with all that excitement? What do you think of him?
I think he's got a big shot. Colt's got a lot of talent. He's still maybe just a little bit immature. He likes to play around a little bit while he's running, but I'm hoping with all the confusion and commotion today with 100,000 people here that he's going to forget about playing around and know what the game's all about and do his best.
Thank you, Chris. You have a good, safe, swift trip, too. Thank you very much. There we go. 2 jockeys who always remind us that danger is always lurking for these small athletes riding 1,200-pound thoroughbreds. Now, once again, here's Jim McKay, Yankees. The Shoe won aboard the California Colt Swaps that year. He captured the Roses again in 1959, and again yet in 1965 on Lucky Debonair. 21 years later, in 1986, he crashed the winner's circle again for the 4th time on Ferdinand.
Coming out of the gate, he got pinched into the fence, and so I got pinched back and shuffled all the way back to last. And I said, oh, now what am I going to do? I said, well, I just might as well take my time, and gradually picked him up, and if he can get there, fine. If he can't, there's not much we can do about it. But in hindsight, that's probably the best thing that happened to me, because the pace was very fast that day. And when I got back last, he relaxed, and I was able to get through that big field and never had to check him another time.
But you still only have that split second to make the decision whether to go for that hole or not, don't you?
Oh, that's true. And one of the reasons when I moved to about the quarter pole, I was about 3 lengths off of the lead, and I knew I had a chance to win then because he was running good, and the leaders were kind of coming back to him. And there were about 4 horses head and head, and I was right behind them, and I could have went around and probably would have been okay, but in California, when he got on the outside with the crowd roaring, he used to put his ears up and not try too well. So I decided, well, I'm going to take a chance and hope I can find a little hole and go through on the inside, and he'll finish better. And luckily for me, it opened up as I got there, and I was able to duck through there.
Now on the brink of his 25th Derby, he jests at age and scars that have known many wounds, a broken leg and broken pelvis, among others. But there are no regrets, except perhaps what happened on that chilly day in May 30 years ago. Well, Bill, this horse is 33 years old, which by human standards makes him well over 100. He was your mount in 1957, Gallant Man. Now, that morning, General Duke, who was the favorite, was scratched. Did you think you two had a good chance?
Oh, I thought he had a great chance, and I'm sure he did, too. I hope he doesn't remember what happened that day.
Well, there's the horse's mouth, but it won't say anything, will it, huh? Okay, you tell us what happened.
I think he's telling me off right now.
Did he really stand up and stop you from winning, huh? What happened, Bill?
Well, I misjudged the finish line. It was 1/16 of a mile from the finish line where I thought it was, and where it usually is on most tracks. But at Churchill Downs, it's a 1/16 of a mile closer to the first turn. Right. And I misjudged it, and he didn't, so I made the mistake that day. He probably should have been the Derby winner. Just want to apologize for making a mistake, pal. You should have been the Derby winner, and the Preakness and the Belmont. He probably should have won the Triple Crown.
Probably is correct. Shoe was suspended for that ride in the Derby, but with the backing of owner Ralph Lowe, he and Gallant Man returned to win the Belmont, setting a record that stood until Secretariat broke. But the sweet memories remain.
All the Derbies that you win are good races to remember, but I think the last one I rode was the race that I'll always remember the most because it had been 21 years in between my Derby victories, and I never thought I'd ever have a chance to win another Derby after 1965, and lo and behold, here it happened. So that one's got to be the best one that I remember.
The dappled road of Shoemaker's career has had far more sunshine than shadows. And in a sport where everyone loses many more times than they win, that is remarkable. But then, Bill Shoemaker is remarkable.